Okay, well, Walden is inside the cockpit locker working on the battery box. I'm going to be out here and I'm going to tackle the cockpit locker lids. We've always had plans to reinforce these lids and to make the cockpit locker water sealed. Actually, 6 or 7 years ago when we were in Guatemala, we already sanded about 90% of the interior of these lids. But I guess we never really got around to finishing that project. So today we're going to pick up where we left off, especially now because now that we're going to have the batteries in the cockpit locker and probably some other electronics, we definitely want it to be as watertight, as water sealed as we can. So that's what we're going to be working on. Yesterday, I've already filled up all the screw holes and small areas with thickened epoxy, and now that everything is cured, I'm going to grab my little trusty sander and sand everything down, finish what we started, and then get everything ready for glasswork. All right, I just finished working on the lids today. Now I just have to let everything sit, and then tomorrow I'll start sanding them. I'm so happy that we're at the phase of this refit where everything is just simpler and easier and overall less physically challenging, because you guys remember the beginning of this refit when we were demoing everything. It was hard. We had zero motivation, and a lot of times we would look at the boat and wonder if it was even worth continuing this project. Kind of makes me worried now about this project.
Yeah, I was expecting that bond to be like a lot better.
We've come a long way. So in honor of Mental Health Day, which was a few days ago, I want to say thank you to BetterHelp for being the paid partner of this week's video. The whole reason why BetterHelp was created was to make starting therapy easier. When you sign up, all you have to do is answer a few questions, and then within a few days, BetterHelp matches you with one of their many therapists from their platform. And so whenever you feel overwhelmed or you're having a difficult time, then you can chat with your therapist anytime and anywhere that's convenient to you. And if you feel like it's not the right fit, the best part is it's so easy to switch at no additional cost. And I know from experience that talking to somebody that's trained to listen makes a world of a difference. So if you feel like starting therapy could be right for you, then make sure to check out the link below. It's betterhelp.com/silinguma, and you can save 10% off your first month. So on that note, I'm going to enjoy the rest of today, and then we'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, well, it's been about a day since we've epoxied down the foam pieces onto the cockpit lids, and everything is nice and stiff. So this morning we went ahead and did a quick dry run just to make sure that we didn't have to cut any pieces, and everything fits perfectly. So I went ahead and sanded everything down, made it smooth, and now it's time to glass it all in. I moved over to the shady spot because it's pretty sunny underneath the boat and we don't want the epoxy to kick in the middle of this process. So this is my new working station. I have my bucket of fiberglass with me. I'm about to cut some pieces. This looks much better than I thought it would look, to be honest. Pretty cool. It's nice and stiff. So today I'm just gonna go around and clean all the edges and then sand it all down and then prime and paint, and then we'll be ready to install it back on the boat. All right, well, time to put a coat of paint on these bad boys. I just finished wiping them with acetone, and I'm gonna go and mix some primer, and then I'll just slap a coat of paint on all the cockpit lids today. I'm also borrowing Dan's hat because it is ridiculously sunny outside, and this is the station that I decided to work with, and since then is working inside mostly, he doesn't need this. So this is mine now. Okay, let's do this.
All right, so the battery box is now installed and it's glued and screwed in to the best of our current abilities. And so we can put the cockpit locker lids in now, which Kika has done an amazing job painting. And they're all nice and shiny like everything else. They're sort of temporarily going to be installed just so we can keep rain out of our cockpit lockers for the first time in like a year, because we're going to be putting some non-skid in the cockpit that's going to be behind these hinges. But for right now, we can put them in place and we can put the hinges in, knowing that eventually we're gonna have to take them back out. But we need to do some templating first. They're so much like beefier and more solid than they were before. They don't flex at all when we step on them anymore, which is nice. All right. These look awesome. And they don't rub at all. Before they go like when we open them, but. Don't flex like. Oh, I like it. Well, these have turned out really, really well. Kika, you did a great job like glassing and foaming and prepping and painting and sanding and doing all those things. So yeah, the cockpit is now pretty much sealed back up again. So we can finally fill the little drain hole we drilled in the bottom of our hull, which I think is the last one. And the cockpit won't fill up with water anymore. We still have a lot more work to do in here, including templating all of this area, which is where we're going to be putting a non-skid material, but we'll get into that later. Also, these are now much more solid than they were before with all the glass work and foam that we put inside. However, we're still going to be adding some foam sealant around the perimeter so that it will seal up against here, so that these cockpit lids will actually be watertight, and we'll be adding some latches on the front. So when we take big waves in the cockpit in the future, they're not going to make our cockpit flood. So yeah, one step closer to making our boat even more ocean ready. And then next week we're gonna be installing our batteries. So it's gonna be a fun week, and we'll see you guys then. Cheers.
Nope. Let's try this again. Here. Nope. Ah. Ah. That was good.